Today's toy spot, we are having a look at the Creature Replica Himalayan Yeti. Spot heard about this line probably about last year, maybe a little over a year ago, and I've been anxiously waiting for this line to be released. It comes to us from the company Creature Replica, and they're releasing 6-inch or a little bit taller than 6-inch replica figures of monsters. How exciting is that? Spot was able to pick up the set of 4, so we're going to be having a look at these in a series of reviews. Figured we first start to look at the Himalayan Yeti. Package-wise, well, we've got a nice open window so you can see the figure inside, but I don't know if you can see it, and I'll show you guys when we get the package opened up. The artwork behind it is really cool as well. And we spin around the side of the package. You can see that the figures are, yes, very, very big. And there's the back of the package. True dedication to native folklore, witness reports, and historical record as the basis for the genesis of Creature Replica and the creation of our sculptured depictions. Our initial wave is in scale with 6-inch and 7-inch action figure lines, fully articulated with environmental bases. Creature Replica is approaching this line with a level of attention to detail, sculptural refinement, and authenticity that has not been given to topic before. With that said, you will be seeing things that you're not going to look like the typical versions of cryptids that are generally thrown out there by the average toy manufacturer. Until now, serious crypto toy lines were as rare as the creatures themselves. Prepare to enter the primordial woods and frozen wastes of the world. Explore its darkest corners. Mysterious beasts undescribed by science are the fringe stomping through the forest, chittering in the shadows. Join our quest and beware. Capture them all. Visit us on social media and at creaturereplica.com. The other figures available besides the Himalayan Yeti is the North African Sasquatch, the Horror Hound, and the Louisiana, and I don't know quite how to pronounce the Ruggiero or Ruggero. This also comes to us from, again, Creature Replica. Very, very excited to get this guy opened up, and certainly really excited to get the entire line opened up. Spot's going to take a break, and we're going to get the Himalayan Yeti opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at the figure. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Just before we have a look at the Himalayan Yeti, I want to show you the box art. Couldn't actually get the insert completely out without ripping it. Just want to show you what the box art looks like. Really nice, really nice. Just put that to the side. Okay, how about the first thing we have a look at is the display stand that comes with the Yeti. It's almost a lot of the areas, such as the shards of the ice, are a see-through or translucent plastic. A lot of the areas actually are translucent plastic, and then they've painted over like a little overlay of lighter blue. 2 peg holes to hold the Yeti in place. And another accent point there. There's a little skull on the side. It's not a big display stand. It's just big enough to hold the Yeti. I don't see that you would really need a very large stand to accommodate the figure. So it's just enough to kind of get, you know, a lot of these figures showcased with their own corresponding environments. And the Yeti we just want to take and peg into place. Unfortunately, the pegs are very large. So you just want to line these up, snap it into place, and you've got your Yeti in his environment. Which, when you eventually get all 4 figures, you know, again, they're not big displays, but they're just the right size to accommodate a figure so it's not taking up a lot of space on a shelf. All right, let's take him off his stand. And we'll just take off the peg. I noticed that the peg popped off before. It just slides back into place. And we'll just put that to the side. Okay, so having a look at the Yeti here. A phenomenal figure. It was definitely worth the wait, I think, now to get him in hand. It has, you know, the first thing when I thought of, or when I saw these figures, the first thing I thought of was it Primal Fear, like the original Sega beat 'em up game, Primal Fear. Kind of just reminds me of that. The sculpt on these guys is really cool, especially like areas of the the clawed hands on the Yeti is very nicely sculpted. Good bit of weight to it as well. For Creature Replica, I think this is one of their first outings. I gotta say, like, quality-wise, the plastic feels very solid, a very heavy plastic. It's on par with like a Marvel Legends, or a Marvel Select is probably the better way to describe it or compare it to. It's got a good bit of heavy plastic to it as well. Face-wise, let's bring the camera in and have a look at this face. Very ferocious, very scary looking sculpt on the Yeti. It would normally have just been a white, but they've washed in what looks to be some additional blue, some yellow, and a little bit of brown on the top of his crown. Fur, though, very nicely sculpted. It kind of looks like his mouth should be able to close. It is just one sculpt piece. It's not something you can open and close. Peeking through, though, his white fur is areas of flesh and very nicely musculared chest there as well. Yeah, it's not something I would definitely want to run into if I was out in the cold. Imagine this giant behemoth coming at you. There's what the back of it looks like. Again, more of that yellow and blue wash added to it. The figure kind of is always in a lunging forward gesture. Because his head can't tip any further back, and because his top torso section can't tip any further back, he's always in this angled pose, which I guess really makes perfect sense. It would be nice if the head could have tipped back a little bit further, but considering that he is really not that far removed from a primate, it would make sense that as a primitive ape-like creature, the Yeti would be lunging forward. He wouldn't be standing upright like a human. The legs also as well. Everything on the figure is very posable. Areas such as the legs, though, again, kind of stops from standing upright. So again, like, you're always going to have it leaning forward. That doesn't really bother me at all due to the nature of what the creature would be. A couple of other areas to point out. We've already had a look at the gloves or the hands, claws. Let's have a look at those again. Very long nails. Something that, you can imagine it just ripping a good chunk out of whatever unsuspecting victim comes in his path, or any large animal I would imagine he would make short work of. And he's got bare feet there as well. And there's the undersides of his feet. Yeah, there's I do feel a good quality to it as well. Again, for Creature Replica, I haven't really seen a lot of stuff that they've come out with. This might be one of their first outings, but you know what? I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. When it comes to his posability, the Yeti does have just a straight swiveled head. He has a little bit of posability with the head moving up and down, but again, it really stops from the head moving any further back to where it resides by default. Shoulders hinge out, and they rotate all the way around. He has a swivel point in his bicep area. He has a bend elbow, which a little bit stiff, but he does bend at the elbow. Also rotates at the forearm, and he also has a separate rotation right at the wrist area. When you get to the torso is on its own ball joint, as mentioned. The legs go forward and back. They stop to about there. They also hinge out. And I guess really for that matter, they hinge forward and back. So, that's kind of cool, because most of the time you see a figure, it stands pretty straight, but this one actually can kind of lean forward as well, as if he's walking through. Ooh, that actually, I like that. I like the way that's posed there. I'm going to try to find a way to incorporate it, have it just kind of have him lunging through the ice wilderness. He's got a hinge in the knee, and finally he's got a ball joint foot. Again, Spot's going to have a look at all the figures from Creature Replica. There's 4, actually, that they released. And wanted to start with the Yeti, because I thought he was a good starting figure. As it being for a predominantly white figure, I think they did a pretty good job of adding extra stuff to it, that it doesn't just come across as a white figure. The blue, the yellow, and stuff like that kind of break up a lot of that. The display stand is a nice touch, and as it goes for sculpts, it's really a quite impressive sight to be seen. A lot of online stores are carrying these figures. You can actually head over to the likes of like Big Bad Toy Store, for example, if you want to pick up this figure for yourself. I would say recommend it. You know, if you're a big fan of monster figures, kind of again reminds me of Primal Fear, but if you guys are fans of that kind of genre, I think these would be cool figures to pick up. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the first figure from Creature Replica. We're looking at the Himalayan Yeti. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.